You're looking at an example of what will be our final Google Docs assignment. This is kind of designed to have you jump in there and use things that you know and design something. And I'm giving you an idea to work with. We are going to make a one-page document that advertises a house for sale. And you can see mine. You're looking at mine right now, and you see several different components to it. It has like house for sale in big letters up at the top. There is a picture of the house. If you look carefully, you'll see a list that has some things that are in the house. You will see the address of the house. You will see how much the house costs. You see some things that are just there to decorate the document a little bit and trying to make it look decent. And then also, if you look carefully enough, you'll find who's selling it. There is a company that, and this is all made up, people, 2378 Rodeo Drive. I don't know I know that Rodeo Drive really does exist in California, but I don't know if 2378 is a real address. It's all made up. I got the picture of the house I did a Google image search, and I got the picture that way. I don't know if this house really has 8 bathrooms and an 8-car garage, but I made it all up. And the paragraph that I have written here too, that's another thing that's part of this, is a paragraph describing, why the house is so great. I made it up. I made it all up. And that's what you're going to have to do as well. Use your imagination a little bit. Make some stuff up. And we're selling a house. And that's going to be the purpose of the page layout that you do. All right, well, so you're looking at my example. I'm going to hop over here to a document that I have prepared, and this will be, it's not, at the time I'm recording this movie, it is not linked up on Google Classroom, but it will be. And this is going to be kind of a guide for you, and I don't really very often read these documents to you. But I'm kind of going to spend a little time on it this time because if you look at the list of requirements, there are 10 things that are required, and that means they got to be there or you're losing some points. Right? So you have to kind of think that through a little bit. Here we go. So again, the idea is you're making a one-page thing that is like advertising a house for sale. And it's going to start with a new blank document. So do that however you want to. Make sure you name it, right? Give it a good name. And then here come the requirements. Let's look at them. Number 1, a large title that says something like house for sale, and it should be at the top of the page. Well, okay, do I have that on mine? Sure, look, up there at the top. And this is just centered text. That's all it is. I just made some text. I made it fairly big. It's Righteous. The font that I used is Righteous. It's size 50. It's centered. It's bold. There we go. Okay, number 2, an image of a house. You can get it from doing insert image and do a search. You need an image of a house. Okay, well, I've got one, right? And the thing that's going to help you size it and float it around and put it where you want is that whole trick that we did about wrap text. You got to remember our lesson on inserting images. If you're not wrapping the text, then the picture might push your text all over the place and really mess up your page. But if you do wrap text, and then you'll be able to size it and move it around and kind of lay it in on the page wherever you want. Okay, so let's move on. That's another thing you have to have. Number 3, a bulleted list. Now notice that does not say a numbered list. That's a specific requirement. I said bulleted on purpose because that's what I wanted on this. I'm making that part of the assignment. So if you have a numbered list, oh man, just lost some points. We covered bulleted lists, so you got to pay attention to some things, right? Okay, so it's got to have at least 5 items that are features of the house. And if you look at my example over here, well, you see my bulleted list. It's right below the address. And it's got 15 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, 3 formal dining rooms, and you see the whole list there, yada, yada, yada. That's a bulleted list, and those are things that are on the property. When I say features of the house, it's things that might want to make somebody buy it. All right, let's go on our requirements. Number 4, the address or the location. Well, again, make it up. I did that right here, 2378 Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills, California. I don't know if that really exists. I made it up. You can do the same thing. Make it up. Where do you want this house to be? Make it up. Dream it up and get it in there. Number 5, the list price or the asking price of the house. How much does it cost? Well, I'm selling this like big old mansion in Beverly Hills, so I'm going $5,900,000. Man, we're asking a lot for this house. And again, that's going to be something that you just make up. And I decided to put my price down at the bottom of the page. Exactly where you put all these things on the page is going to be up to you. All right, that's going to be your job, your call. You're going to have to work on that. Okay, now, number 6, a paragraph that describes the house and tries to make the house sound good. All right, well, I've got that right here. You see my paragraph, don't you, right? It says, if this house does not have everything you need, then you need too much. This house is located near all the best shopping that Beverly Hills has to offer, and there's a Dairy Queen within walking distance. Schools and libraries are nearby, and the neighborhood is friendly and peaceful, and you never know who you might run into at the grocery store. Tom Cruise, Dwayne Johnson, Jennifer Lawrence, you never know. If you're looking for a house that has everything and offers a location full of excitement and adventure, this is the house for you. Man, doesn't that make you want to buy this house? Well, yeah, until you realize it costs $5,900,000. But there's my paragraph, right? Okay, cool. And you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to make up a little paragraph. Make the house sound good. What's so great about this house? All right, use your words. Do a little writing. All right, number 7. The name of the selling agent. Who's selling it? Now, mine is really tiny way down at the bottom of the page. Listed by Beverly Hills Realty, a 5-star company. Right? It doesn't have to be, that part doesn't have to be big, right? It's way down here at the bottom. Small print. Okay, cool. Got it. Number 8, use at least 2 different fonts, but not more than 4. If you use a ton of fonts, it starts to look kind of bad, actually. It looks a little bit too crazy if you use just a ton of different fonts. But I do want you to use at least 2 different fonts on your design someplace. You can decide how, but at least 2 different fonts. So if we go back and look at mine, a lot of mine is that Righteous font. This paragraph's in the Righteous font. The title is in the Righteous font. This right here is called Cougarette. My 2378 Rodeo Drive is Cougarette. Same thing with listing price, that's Cougarette. And I think down here at the very bottom, I also use Cougarette for that. So there's my 2 different fonts, right? I've got the Righteous font and the Cougarette font, and you can decide which ones you want to use. Everything must fit on one page, all right? So you got to work your sizes a little bit. I don't want this. If I scroll this and it goes to 2 pages, you just lost some points. It's part of the challenge. You got to get it on one page. You have to get it and make it fit. One page, people. All right, and then number 10, a pleasing overall appearance. All right, let's not just slop it together like you don't care. We're trying to make something that looks halfway decent. Okay, now I got a few, coming down the home stretch here, I got a few other ideas. You could get very creative on this. The house that is for sale could be a new hive for a colony of bees, a new cave for a prehistoric family. It doesn't have to be like a house for humans necessarily. It could be an igloo for a family of Eskimos. You know, you can use your imagination a little bit if you want to. Have some fun with it. Next, you can add more than one image if you'd like. If you have room to do that, you know, you have to kind of fill the page up, but you could have more than one picture. I only have one picture on my example, but you could have more than one picture if you wish. All right, you could use anything in Google Docs that will help get the job done. You want to use text boxes? Do you want to use shapes? You have to use images. Whatever you need, you can use. And if you know things that we didn't even talk about in Google Docs, go for it. And then adjust the size of your fonts to help fill the page, because the page should be pretty much full when you're all done. When everything is finished, you shouldn't have, this shouldn't be like a thing that fills half the page and then half the page is empty. That's kind of not what we're after. We're looking for a page that is pretty full All right, and you got all of the parts in there, but the page is pretty full, and there's not a ton of empty space left over. And you can see that that's how mine works here. I got my big title up here. Here's the address. Here's the list. Here's the picture. I've got my paragraph. I got my listing price. I got my who's selling it. And then I decided to add some of these. This is just shapes here. I decided to add some of these gold stars down here because it's a 5-star company, right? So I decided to add those down at the bottom. I think they look nice, and they kind of go along with the whole idea. All right. Well, that's it. That is our kind of our final Google Docs assignment. So let's get to it.